emotions, gameplay, video editing.
What?
Gotcha!
Hello. I want to start a new little tutorial thing, and let's just get started. Today I want to talk about spacing of parts, separation of parts, and protection of parts. And we've got a horrible little example craft here, and we're going to improve that a bit. And I want to slowly get into, bigger stuff. So I do want to end up with like actual craft. Well, I think we start small. Now, what do I mean by spacing, separation, and protection? The word triforcing is being thrown around a lot, and I don't really like it that much anymore because triforcing, the word is used for so many different things. So I would just like to avoid the word. Not the different techniques, I just want to avoid the word. So what do I mean by spacing parts? You may notice that, for example, I've got all of my guns here together. That is a bit of a problem. The black tubes here, just to indicate the point. Now, having multiple parts on one block is a thing that you should never do. Never ever should you have one block that is carrying multiple parts. Problems, of course, the moment I get a few shots on that part, for example, I will lose it. The leftover damage will destroy a block. The moment that block is gone, oopsie, mirror mode. The moment that block is gone, I lost additional guns. Even worse, I could get a blow somewhere here and suddenly I don't have any guns left at all. So having all of your stuff together is generally a bad idea. So this applies to having all of my guns on that general structure. You don't want to have that, and you really don't want to have multiple guns, movement parts, and multiple whatever connected to one cube. I would like to space it out. After I've spaced it out, I will have to separate it further. That is by means of using prisms, tetras instead of full blocks. That is what most people consider triforcing. And after that, we'll try to protect them better. You first need to space out your parts, otherwise you can't separate them. There is just no way I could place a prism here so that when this gun is destroyed, the others are destroyed. You want to separate, you first have to space out. After you've spaced out, so for example, just placing it like this, after you spaced out your parts and they're now on different blocks, you can try to separate them. What separation means is they stay quite close together, meaning a hefty shot here will still impact the blocks around. So if I get a railgun shot, for example, on okay, it's a tier 2 gun, very unlikely to get a railgun shot. If I get a big impact plasma on this gun, 70% of the plasma damage will be transferred into this block, and from there it will travel outwards. So the block behind and left and right will be destroyed below, and when there's still damage left over, it will travel into the blocks, which you can see here now, including that one. So there is a very nice chance that this block is being destroyed as well, and now my second gun died from one plasma impact. You don't want that to happen. So very easy what you can do. Why not just have this one on a prism, that one on a prism. Actually, let's use the color prisms so it's easier to see. I'm using white cubes here, and I'm using glass. Please do not use white cubes and glass in normal games. It's just for the color, so it's easier to see. So what would happen now is I get a big plasma impact on that gun. After that, the blocks which were connected, 70% of the damage is going to this glass block, Now the damage will travel from here. The damage will travel into blocks which are connected. The connected ones are the one behind, to the left, and below. This one, however, is not destroyed because it's not connected. And now the damage will travel on as well, so next target which could be destroyed are that block, this block, that block, that block. Taking them all away. And now the next blocks. So I already had to take away far more blocks than I did before. Now the next blocks which could die are the ones below. Those three, 1, 2, 3. Of course, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still, that gun would survive. One thing I don't like, of course, is the fact that now my wheel could die. So my wheel should probably be separated from the guns as well. Always try to see which parts are close to each other. Try to separate them. However, please do not over-separate if you don't want to get rid of all connections. When you do that, you will just die too easily to SMG damage, for example, because you will just have parts fall off. So that would be separation. First, I spaced it out, have them on different cubes. Second, I separated them by using prisms. Now, number 3 would be protection. Those guns are still in the very front. Anybody looking at me from the front will just shoot me, shoot in my general direction, and a very lovely chance of just hitting that block. Oh, my gun is dead. Now you don't want that to happen, do you? So what you do is you just take your guns and you just don't have them in the front row. You have them at least in the second row, probably even better idea, you have them behind that. Now, of course, now I have them here, I still want to have them separated, so I take away those cubes. Take those cubes, place my guns here. And now what happens is, if somebody wants to shoot me, somebody shoots me from the front, and now we've got SMG impact, boom, boom, he takes away my cubes, and eventually, yes, he will take away the gun as well. Parts die, that's normal, you can't help that. Sooner or later your parts will die. One thing, however, is you want them to die a little bit later. Just want them to die later. That is all you want to achieve. So now people shooting me from the front can't directly hit my gun block anymore. When damage directly destroys my gun, the leftover damage has enough space to flow into without harming the other gun. And of course they're not directly on the same block anymore. That is what I want to have. Now I still have all of those left. But I still have the old problem here. So obviously I need a full rebuild. Oh. So yeah, we're going to take that away. And have a look at a little example boss where I show you what I did there. That is one little example boss down here. Let's place see it again. Okay, let's have a look. I again have front mounted guns. I do like front mounted guns on SMG. The wheels, I tucked them in. On the craft I had on the ceiling before, the wheels were on the very outside like this, meaning they have a bigger hitbox, easier to shoot off. One thing that you should definitely do is just tuck them in a little bit, take away one cube, place them like that. My guns are spread out all over the place, so I don't have one big self-destruct button, I don't have one huge weak spot. So if a stray bullet hits me, it's not possible to knock off all of my 9 guns at the same time. They're now spread out. They all have at least one. They all have at least one cube in front of them, and they are separated by some other means as well. We have a look at this gun, for example. Now that gun is one block above the block which has my wheel. You see my wheel is here, and my gun is just above that. So somebody destroying my wheel or the plasma, I get a plasma impact close to the ground. Get a plasma impact here somewhere, it rips my wheel off, and when my wheel dies, there's a good chance my gun dies. I really don't want to have that. So what I did is, I took a tetra, and that tetra is connected like this. The tetra is connected upwards and outwards and to the back. My gun is on that. That means when my gun dies, the leftover damage will spread into that area to the back, where there's nothing, not cubes. And you always want it to flow towards cubes you have left. Okay, this amount of cubes, especially in the second layer here, that is not needed. Towards the outside, fine with me, and nowhere else. So the damage, the leftover damage, will just spread into that direction. That is great, because the blocks, those blocks here I'm looking at right now, those blocks, they don't carry any functional parts, they are not close to any functional parts. It's an ideal place. If I want damage to flow in any direction, well, that is ideal. So that's what I'm doing here. If damage hits my wheel, however, because I get a plasma impact close to me, the damage will flow to the back as well. It cannot flow upward because above it's not connected, you see. There, it's not connected. Oh, I could use a tetra as well. So it will only spread to the back, so it will spread in that direction. And from here it will spread outwards in all directions, so to the left, to the right, to the back, and from here it can spread upwards as well. It's perfectly fine. It's far enough from that block over here, so it would have to destroy, the damage would have to be enough to destroy that block. The block above, to the left, to the right, in here, from here I would have to spread on, that would destroy that one as well. So I do need a large amount of blocks to be destroyed to actually kill the second wheel. Block distance is big enough. Those front-mounted guns are not separated anyway. They are all on full blocks, sadly. I have too many functional parts here. Sorry, was rudely interrupted. So I've got too many functional parts here in the front altogether. Those 4 guns, those 2 wheels, not enough space, meaning I purposely don't separate those guns, because that would mean too much subdividing this little piece of armor in the front. Can't do that. In the back, we've got those guns mounted on prisms which are connected towards the back, so if you shoot me from the front, you either have to shoot the gun directly or you have to dig through that armor. However, that armor here is not connected directly there, so it will take a bit longer because the armor here will, the damage will spread more sideways and not directly to the back. Those guns are on tetras. Those tetras are connected here. Again, from the front, you need at least a second shot to get there. And I'm missing a crystal. And because those are on tetras, it means that this block between them is in fact not touching. Oh, look at that. That block here is in fact not touching, meaning a gun, for example, plasma impact to one of those guns here on the top, damage will spread down and to the outside, but not to the other gun. The whole design is meant to protect the guns from the front, so the mounting block cannot be destroyed by SMG. And when the gun is being hit by plasma, the damage will spread out in the area, but not spread towards another gun. So it's far less likely to lose 2 functional parts at the same time. Wheels are tucked in a little bit to make it harder to kill them with SMG. And with a shape like that, you should definitely be far better off compared to the other craft I haven't seen before. I think that's enough for now. More videos are to come. Have a nice day.